Okay, gee, that was easy, wasn't it?
That's pretty easy.
Yeah, welcome to the continuing wine bloggers series here at Wine of the Month Club. And I got a great surprise yesterday. I got an email from Tom Plant at Wineormous, and he was swinging through, and he said, taste some wine with us and talking to the camera. It was great to have you, Tom. Thanks
Great
for
to
coming.
be here, Paul. Thanks for inviting me.
It's our pleasure. So you're on your way to see the winemaker at Bancroft.
Bancroft Estate in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Doing a little cocktail, well, probably a wine party, wine and hors d'oeuvres in L.A.
So are they making the rounds in L.A.? Or
I think they are. It's kind of a press trip.
Yeah. Well, I looked it up, and we had done, I did the 98 Chardonnay. So that was a little while ago. So I'd love to taste them again. I don't know who he wholesales with anymore.
I'll find out for you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Sure.
So Tom did a nice story on us. And look at this. I just dragged this down. Look at this, huh?
There we go.
How
Who's
about
that guy?
Yeah, that's a pretty good picture, I guess.
It's not bad.
That shirt doesn't fit. Anyway, so this is the website. It's wineormous.com. And Tom is a prolific wine writer and traveler and has a great palate, actually. We just tasted some wines together, and he and I were almost right on with everything.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I put him through the paces because I wanted him to taste some of that junk we get.
Mm-hmm. And there was some pretty iffy wine.
Yeah, some bad stuff. And that's why I stay in business. That's why you get to write about, right?
Exactly.
So tell me about the genesis of Wineormous.com. What was it?
It's a good story. My wife and I, while we were dating, started visiting Paso Robles, and in a year we maybe went up there 3 times. We went up another visit with another couple, and after 2 days of every winery we walked into, Tom, Laura, how are you? We've got some new releases for you to taste. Why don't we come in the back, do some barrel tasting?
Wow.
My friend spun around, looked at me, and said, Tom, you are in the wrong line of work.
Yeah.
This is your passion. Figure it out.
Well, that's great. I don't get that kind of treatment myself. So that was a while ago then.
That was 09.
Yeah, so
I abandoned my real estate career.
Really?
Started my blog, Wineormous.
Oh, that's great. So you were on it every day.
Absolutely.
And you're writing every day, tasting all the time.
All the time.
And traveling, it looks like.
Yeah. Member of the International Food, Wine, and Travel Writers Association.
Yes.
I'll be going to the Republic of Georgia in March.
Wow.
The cradle of wine.
No, there was a contingent that I was asked to go with, and I thought, I would certainly benefit and love to go that trip, but given the constraints I had in timing, I thought it'd be better if I sent somebody that I think would really grasp it. I sent one of the MWs that sells us wine
Nice.
here. And so he came back and said, well, thanks for putting me on to that because it was really interesting. So how long is that trip?
It's 8 days.
Well, that's plenty of time. Yeah, and I guess they have, I know they make good wines there.
Right, they do.
But getting them into America and getting America to care is probably the hardest
That's
part.
tough, yeah.
Well, I'm Armenian.
Okay.
And so we went to Armenia, and we went wine tasting, and it was horrible.
What a shame.
It's so horrible.
Yeah.
And then my father-in-law says, bring it. Let's bring some. I'm like,
Okay.
A, it's bad, and B, who am I going to sell to?
Yeah, exactly.
So what are they going to do with this Georgia thing? They get dinners, of course, and
Dinners, we're going to visit wineries, we're going to visit distilleries, we're going to
distilleries
just about
too.
everything.
That's fun, yeah.
Mhm. And then 2 days of the International Wine Tourism Conference itself, I'll be on a round table talking about wine tourism.
Oh, that's great. That's great. We need that.
We do.
In this industry.
Yeah.
We need people to get out and see what's going on.
Exactly.
My wife and I are going to France on the 5th to pick up one daughter who's at baking school in a little town called Issoudun outside of Lyon. But I want to cruise it through Burgundy. I haven't been through Burgundy yet.
Yeah.
Looking forward to doing that.
I took a cruise on a passenger barge down the Burgundy Canal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wine cruise?
Yeah.
Or just
Yeah, this was many, many years ago. I don't want to go into how many, but
Yeah, well,
long time ago.
This is the Echelon. It just landed here, folks, in the warehouse. Sometimes they get mixed up a little bit with the on the trip. It's 2010 Russian River Valley. I actually bought a couple of wines from these guys.
Okay.
And you mentioned you didn't recognize
It's a
the
label I'm not
brand,
familiar
but
with.
it's, who knows. It says vintage and bottled by Echelon, so they've registered it that way. But I like the wine. Russian River Pinot is going to be a little more full-bodied than some of the stuff that I where's your favorite Pinot from, typically? Where do you like it?
I love the Willamette Valley in Oregon, and I also am a fan of the Santa Lucia Highlands. It's got a beautiful nose.
Well, it's a full-bodied Pinot Noir, that's for sure. I'm big on the Central Coast and San Ynez Pinots, even though that's atypical of a Burgundian Pinot.
Look at the color.
It's interesting wines. Yeah, that's great. Well, you know, and then the palate is true to the nose. You get that all that fruit and a little bit of spiciness in it.
And the finish is lovely.
Very happy with that. We're going to sell that probably. I'm going to sell it. I'm going to give it away at like $15.
That's a steal.
Good bargain.
That's a steal.
Well, you know, we do have our fingers in a lot of different places. That's
It sure sounds like it,
one
Paul.
of the beauties of what we do. But as you know, and you've tasted a lot of wine, and you've been a lot of different places. There's always, and more, right? You must be aghast at all this.
Oh, some
how
of
much
them.
you see.
Some of them are just plain flawed wines.
Yeah,
that
just
should
bad
not
wine.
have been bottled.
Shouldn't have been bottled. But
Yep.
what are they going to do?
Yep.
Pour it out?
Well, if they're smart, they probably would.
Or sell it to Serpentine Company. This is La Merca. By looking at it, you'd think it was imported.
You would, but
apparently, it's from California, and it's all cab.
Manteca.
Yeah, and I don't know that it's going to be a sort of a California style, a little fruit forward, and then nose. Pretty juicy. Yeah, California style. Not
Nice
too much oak.
mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Some tannins going on.
Good balance. I think it'll age a little bit in the bottle. Sorry, 010. I wish I knew who made it.
It's an 09.
Is it 09? Oh.
And you, I understand, are not a collector at all. You buy wine. You think wine should be purchased to
Wine
drink
should
now.
be drunk.
Yep.
Well, I think it's fun to age them and watch them, but nothing could be worse, right, than collecting it and then have them go bad.
Oh, awful.
You know, so
And we've all had it happen.
so it's time to drink them, and you know, if you can't store them in the exactly right temperatures, then
Right.
you need to drink them sooner than you
Exactly.
think. You know, and I have this great thing that we do, and it doesn't happen all the time, but I have a customer call. So you told me this wine would last 5 years, and it didn't last 5 years. And I'm like, well, where would you have it? Above the refrigerator in the
Yeah,
kitchen.
oh,
you know?
great. Just cooking.
Right, and I'm like, fine, I'll replace it for you, no problem. It's, you know, I can't control that, but that's okay. But I don't even have a cellar at my house.
Interesting.
Of course, I have, you know,
You have a cellar here.
but I really believe that wine is to be enjoyed with your friends, your family. Drink it, and there's no time really. That the whole bumper sticker that says no, you know, it was no bad wine or life's too short to drink bad wine.
Exactly.
I mean, it's true, right?
Yeah. And I think the statistic is something like 90% or more of wine is purchased to be drunk that day, the day it's bought.
In London, in England, they say the average life of a bottle that leaves the store is like 45 minutes or something. But I think 90% of all wine bottled is drunk in the first 2 years. Something like that.
I saw a cute cartoon the other day. It was a woman saying, I just read that you could use leftover wine to make ice cubes. And she said, I was confused. What is leftover wine?
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Doesn't happen around my house too often.
No,
About yours.
not around mine.
Yeah, I asked if you, Tom, if you wanted to taste this Tanat, which we're featuring right now in the club, because my dad's a botanist. He's a chemist through plants, and he's 87, and he argues with his heart doctor about the most valuable red wine when it comes to resveratrol and quercetin and those things. And the doctor insists it's Pinot Noir.
Really?
No, and it's not. It's Tanat.
Tanat?
Tanat
Okay.
has the most. So, and I read that in that there's a book out now about the red wine diet or something.
Oh, okay.
You must be on it.
I
You have
probably
red wine
am.
every night. But Tanat, as you probably know, has a lot of acid. Typically, they're hard, and they're from Uruguay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uruguay's producing some beautiful wines.
they do. They have great wines. But would you? I think the average consumer that comes to your blog site would walk into a store and see Uruguay and go, that.
It still needs some recognition.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be almost hand-sold to that point.
Yeah.
Same with, like my father-in-law was saying, bring in some of these Armenian wines. And there was one Armenian wine that won an international Paris-based Muscat tasting. It came on top, gold medal. I mean, this is a beautiful wine. But it's floor stacked at Super King at $5.99.
Yeah.
You know, here's a wine, a gold medal in an international competition.
And nobody knows what it is.
Nobody knows what it is. So these are big wines usually.
Big smoky
With all
nose.
kinds of smoke in the nose, you're right. And that smoke comes through a little bit of fruit before the finish.
That's very nice.
And it's not as, well, that's why I featured it. To define a tanat that's not like, terry cloth in your mouth.
Yeah, and it's not.
It's not. And it's kind of fun to think out. So what do you pair wines with food in your blog?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
I might go with lamb.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great
Yeah.
idea. Yeah, like a leg of lamb or something. Yeah, I like that. And probably in Uruguay, that's what they do too.
I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, so what can we expect on the blog coming up here in the future?
Well, you just showed a picture of the
Yeah,
most
I like
recent
that.
story.
Thank you.
We do regular tastings, so we did a tasting of Provenance wines from San Helena in the Napa Valley, and we tasted 6 wines from them this week. So that'll be coming up probably.
Wow. So these are Provence-based style wines grown in Napa, or you did it in Napa?
No, it's just the wine is called the.
Oh, the wine is
label
Provence.
is called
the brand is
Provenance.
Yeah,
Provenance.
Yeah. Oh, Provenance. Oh, yeah. I know that brand. Yeah.
Yeah, Tom
So-
Rinaldi's their winemaker. He
Yeah.
does
So
it.
you did a taste of their wines, and who's we?
I have a group of 10 to 20 people that meet almost every week. We taste 6 to 8 wines, and then I write about them. They all have to fill out a little sheet
Yeah.
with their comments on the wines, and then I compile everything and publish it.
Oh, that's great.
So-
That's a great thing.
Yeah.
Some of you might know this. That's how this club started. My dad was a pharmacist, and you already read about this, but I used to set up at night on Tuesday nights. I'd set up a tasting, and he would bring all the doctors in.
Right.
He used to support his pharmacies, and that was for them as a party.
Yeah, of course.
For
And
my
there was a
dad-
waiting list to get on that
you
board,
couldn't get
right?
on that, right? And for my dad, I was like, okay, we got to go to work, get some work done. We got to choose some wines. So it's fun to see that happening down there. Well, it's a pleasure having you here, Tom. I appreciate
Thank you,
the
Paul.
support out of the blog site, and you'll be able to see this interview on our website as well at Vimeo and YouTube.com. Cheers.
Cheers.